Hi, I'm Chris. I'm one of the technical and on-site people here at Design SEO. I'm actually also the new guy as well, so they're dropping me right in it, which is good. It's fairly basic stuff that I'm going to cover, but it is stuff that goes wrong with a lot of websites that we see every day. So you might sort of know what you're doing, but it is stuff that you'll miss, and if you get this right, it'll really give you a boost to your rankings. So just get myself sorted out. So we're going to be doing an analysis of sites that people have submitted from the audience. I'm not sure if everyone's managed to get here tonight, but we're going to start with motor-mouth advertising. We're going to be looking at three broad areas for each of the websites that we do, or well, we're going to be covering them. Looking at keyword targeting, duplicate content, and conversion rate optimization and usability. I'll also show you a few useful tools you can use along the way to find problems with your site. So this is a really good website. It's quite attractive. It's got a nice call to action in the corner there, and a call to action is something you always want to have on your site because it just tells the user what they should be doing straight away. They look at your site and they know what to do, which is really the whole purpose of building a site in the first place. You want them to carry out some kind of action. Regarding keyword targeting, one of the most useful tools you can actually use is Google Site Search. So if you put in front of your URL in the Google search, you put site : your URL, click that. It'll come up with all the pages that they have indexed for your site. This is just really effective. It'll show you a couple of things. First, it will show you which of your pages are ranking higher, so it gives you an idea of which pages are getting the most value passed to them from links into your site, and gives you an idea of how your site architecture is performing, whether you're linking to your pages properly. The other thing it does straight away is it shows you the title tags for the pages it's got indexed. So, as you can see with this one, they've got the branding at the start. There isn't a right or wrong way to do titles, apart from we wouldn't say do keyword stuffing. But the problem with having the branding right at the start is it's not what the user's actually looking for. They're probably going to be looking for social media marketing or something like that, and they might not recognise your brand. The first thing they see is your brand. It's not getting the maximum exposure for your keywords. So I would recommend putting the targeted keywords at the start and then including your branding towards the end. And if possible, include a call to action as well. You can also include a call to action in the description here. So. Next. There's another really useful tool you can use to sort of look at your site. It's called Screaming Frog. A bit of an intimidating name, but it's actually a really useful free tool for crawling your whole site. It'll give you loads of information, basically on the information it finds, so page titles, meta descriptions, that kind of thing. So if I just... Little work. So basically what it's doing, it's acting like a search engine crawler, and it's going over all the pages in your site it can find through the links. One thing this is very useful for finding is if you're using poor link structures on your page. So the other day I was looking at a site and only 2 pages popped up. That basically told me straight away they were using some kind of linking that search engines couldn't find, and that's a really big problem for passing link value through your site, so that's something to look out for. Again, you can click on in this tool lots of different things, so you can see all the page titles again there. What I'm going to look at is the H1s. So what I'd say here is you want to be using your targeted keywords really in the H1s. There is some debate over whether it's really necessary, but I would say, from my own experience and from some experiments I've done, there is still a value to be had in using H1s. And say you're up against a competitor that's targeting the same keywords. If they're not doing it and you are doing it, you're going to see a little bit of advantage. So it's worthwhile going for it. Equally, using H2, so there is some value in having related keywords and the keywords repeated again in the H2s, because you're going to get that value, and search engines will understand better what your page content's about. Switch back to this. Another thing that Dan's already mentioned is, for example, including alt text with your images. I think if we look at this one, you can use the developer toolbar. So if you press F12, if you're in Google Chrome, that kind of thing, you can use this and that. So you can see here that the alt text is empty. So that's kind of a missed opportunity, firstly for having relevant keywords in there. So you shouldn't be looking to insert any keywords, you should be using ones that are relevant to the image. But if it happens to include the word social media, for example, for this site, that would have some benefit. Also, it's an issue of accessibility for users that are using screen readers and that kind of thing. I might just show you with this site actually, another tool that we have. It's GT Metrics, and you can use this as well. It's generally accessible, free tool. It will basically give you a report on your page load times. So if we just run it on this, it might take a minute. Page load times are important for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's user experience. So you want it to be nice and fast. You know yourselves, if you find a website and the pages take ages to load, you're going to go somewhere else. You're not going to browse as often. You're not going to come back to it. As you can see, it seems quite dramatic when you see that up there, but you might find that your own personal experience, it doesn't seem that bad. But there's a lot of things you can do, and GT Metrics will give you all these specific recommendations you can use. And Google is now actually using page loads content. You might also find quite commonly HTTPS versions, www versus non-www. So if I put www in front there, you've got that version. There's a really easy way to fix this, which Dan already mentioned. You can use a canonical link and point that back to the preferred root domain. So you also want to decide whether you want www or non-www. The other reason for this is that it'll increase the impact of any link building that you do. So any links that are pointing to any of those versions of the home page, they're all going to be consolidated into the main home page, and it's just going to concentrate things for you a bit. Another thing that we can find here, it seems like a good way of adding content to your site, and to an extent it probably does add some value to your users if they're going to come and look through your content. But this site, one thing it does is, I believe it probably uses an RSS feed or something, so it's grabbing content from other sites. So as you can see, it's not coming up first for that result. Other pages are ranking, and they've got, I believe, pretty much 84% of it. It's all the same. So what you really want to be doing is creating your own unique content that targets keywords that people are going to be searching for. In this case, if you've got keywords in there that you're trying to target and someone types that into Google, they're going to find someone else's website, not yours. So it's really limited benefit to you, unless of course you've got people that are coming to your website specifically to look at this information. So much better developing your own. Not sure where I'm up to. Next I'm going to sort of get a bit of audience participation in this one. We're going to look at usability and conversion rate optimization. I've not gone too deeply into this, but if anyone's feeling brave, you could just tell me which part of the page you'd click on. So we'll look first at this one. Whereabouts would you want to click on that page? This bit? Yeah, cool. And then on this page, whereabouts would you want to click? Down low, yep. And I don't know, what would you want to do there? What draws you in? Call, yeah, that's a good one as well. That's also another call to action. You're taking action as a result, and it's what we want you to do. Now, where would you click on this page? Anywhere in particular? So there's a few different answers. That's it. My first answer actually was this, and if we go to that, it takes you to a different website, which I'm not sure that was their intention. So, let's see. It does open it in a different window, that's good. What I would say is, you've got to think about what you want your users to do when they come to your website. I'm not going to go too deeply into conversion rate because it's not my speciality, but you do want to think about having something that clearly tells people what they're meant to do. So if you want them to donate, perhaps have it in 3 different sections. Have somewhere highlight membership, use different colours, separate it out from the rest of the menu. Maybe put a button here, say donate now, that kind of thing. And then again, you can use in the text, you can just say maybe a bit of description and then donate now, that kind of thing, or become a member. You'd be amazed how many websites miss this, and this is the bit where you can get people to your website, but if you don't have good conversion rate, then it's all for nothing, basically. That's pretty much it, unless anyone... how much time have I got? Oh, not long. 3 minutes. Unless anyone wants to throw me a website quickly that's not hugely SEO'd, and I can do that. .com.au. So, this could go a million different ways, I'm not sure yet. So. Okay. One of the first things I check, gives you an indication of if people are really on the ball with their SEO, is take out the www. And that redirects to that, so that's good. You can set up the 301 redirect in your htaccess file if you're using an Apache server. If you're using IIS, there's some kind of graphic user interface you can use. Next page. Okay, then what we'll do is the site : search. One of the other things you can look for when doing this is any unusual URLs. This is actually a really good sign. Some people think that if you've got thousands of pages indexed, that's a good thing. To me, that says you've got lots of rubbish on your website. So it's really good to see that only 32. Maybe go to page 3. This is usually where the unusual URLs are hidden. Looks pretty good, to be honest. I can't find a huge amount. Told you it was risky.
Bronson says it's WordPress.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You can tell with the URLs as well, they don't have all these endless kind of subdirections. We'll stick it in here, see what comes up. We always recommend using, well, quite often recommend using WordPress because it just makes everything so easy. You sometimes get stuff like static pages on some sites or static HTML, and that's much more difficult to work with. It takes hours and hours of work to do the simplest of things. Looks really good. The only thing I would say is that perhaps some of the titles are a little bit too long, so we'd say aim for 70 characters. But even that's changed more recently, so they're looking at pixel length. What you'll probably find with some of these is that the end of it will be truncated in Google search. I didn't spot that before, actually. So.
Actually, I noticed with long titles at the moment they're actually replacing your title altogether.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've not seen it myself. Yeah. That's the other benefit of having them under 70 characters is that you can determine what it's going to be. As you mentioned, I've heard of them just taking things out of the URL, so it's not going to be your high impact, branded, using call to action, that kind of thing. So it's not going to be your preferred page title. Yeah, I think I've pretty much run out of time. I can probably go over that later if you like. Yeah, okay, thanks very much.